Good morning, viewers. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Nigerians. Good morning, all over the continent. My name is Lucky. I am representing Datapoint Forex Trading Academy. Today is 23rd of May 2026. We have done a lot of analysis yesterday or through the week. But what we intend to do today is we're going to do JBP USD market analysis. Comprehensive JBP market analysis, because JBP is one of the pairs that a lot of traders love to trade, most especially the newbies who are coming on board love to trade JBP and Euro USD. But today we want to focus on JBP USD comprehensively, that we can be able to analyze a very good pair and have the direction of the week. First, let's have a clean chart of our, and this is the clean chart. Now we'll move to weekly. I normally start my trading with weekly. I used to do monthly, but I felt it's important that we start weekly so that we can have a very clean view, a direct, easy direction for us to have a where we are heading to. Now let's check our resistance. This is our resistance, and this resistance shows that we've had over weeks or months from 2022. Market has not broken to this above this high. Now let's check our, I think the lower support or the first support of this trend of this market is this. So we're going to be focusing on the lowest support for this direction. So we have 1,38000 on the resistance and 1,30631 on the support. So now let's go to our weekly. For what we are saying, the monthly is still buying, sorry, weekly is buying, but there's a little retracement so far. Now let's go back to daily to check what we're looking at. On the daily, it's clear that the market was buying but is now selling. But let's check our inner zone structures to identify a clear direction. By taking this off, it shows that, oh fine, that the market was actually on the downtrend for quite some time, and it changes direction by breaking this trend, right? Now after breaking the trend, we have a direction of a buy. Now let's use a trend line from this other direction down here. So let's see what we're looking at. Now we have this is an inner zone, clear already. So we expect market to come to this direction, which is this. Now it's down to this zone, so it's likely to go back to retest this. So if we're going to get an entry at this point, we need to go back to our 4 hours to check the clear direction where we can easily come into this market. Now this is what we have. Let's remove this so that we can see our direction. When you remove this, you have okay, fine. Now we want this market to come back to the inner zone, possible to come back to the minus zone, then we can go up for a buy. So that is what we'll be expecting in JBP USD. It's very clear that the market is going to be ranging in between this zone, and our trending expectation will also be in that zone, because we are still looking up for a buy. Then we'll be looking at the market to reverse back at the early week of Monday for us to take a buy from this zone. Then we cannot go up. But if not, if there's any breakout of this zone, we will set our entry this way to go up. Now if there's any breakout from this zone, let's take 40, then we'll let the market to drop a little so that our SL will not be too high. Then this is what we'll be expecting. Now this is going to be our market for the week. But if peradventure market did not, there is any breakout here, come down, retest, then we should be looking down again to come and retest this lower zone. and go for a buy at this zone. So we need to be very careful to see the market candle formation that will be happening in between this zone, this minor zone, to consider whether it's going to be a buy or a sell. But putting this buys bar does not really mean that we must buy. It's the formation we get in between this period in market liquidity or show that happens in between this zone that will determine our next take of action. So mind you, just always monitor your candlestick formation and what happens in between the charts before you can decide on what next to do. So meanwhile, let's just quickly check Euro USD. Let's see what Euro USD is doing. Euro USD is also a good pair. If you check Euro USD, it's more or less like moving like the way GBP USD is also doing. But at this level, we're also waiting for what we have here is a sell. We expect the market to drop, possible come back here, then drop below this zone for us to look into a buy. Let's check the higher time frame to see if there's any direction. Yeah, the direction is clear here that is a sell. It's pure a sell because on the upper zone we witnessed there was a double top here, lighter double top. Now the market has shown that it's a sell, so we expect this market to range in between this zone, then drop down to 1,14115 for a possible buy. So if you're going to buy this market, you need to wait for some time for this market to drop to this zone before you can look at a buy for the next 1 week entry expectation for this Euro USD. So this is what we then let's check the 4 hours for Euro USD and see if our expectation is actually in line with the lower time frame. Yeah, I think if you check this, let's use our trend line to see what the breakout here is doing to us. We have this zone. Okay, now let's wait for there's something that will happen in between this zone at this point. Let's just see what happened here. Any breakout below and retest will go for a sell, but overall direction is a buy when the market gets to this zone. But anything you are doing here on the lower time frame, expect a sell down here. Once the sell was able to get to this zone of 1,14115, then we can expect a buy. At that time, we will be able to have a good support at this zone that will clear to us that market is very easy to for. Yeah, this is what we'll be expecting. So for market able to drop to this level for my Monday, Tuesday, so we'll go for a buy on Euro USD. So these are the two analyses for Euro USD and GBP USD for the week. I hope and I pray that the market go well for all of us. Keep your likes on Datapoint Trading Academy, share and follow us on all our trading forecast and technical analysis we will be reviewing for the new week. By next week, by God's grace, we'll be doing more of commodities and indices of different pairs. So happy weekend and have a lovely